With security on high, Governor Gavin Newsom visited this Office of Education, where he thanked nurses brought in from out of town to vaccinate teachers.
Welcome to our governor, Gavin Newsom, to Ventura County and the Central Coast.
State Senator Monique Limon introduced him.
This is the last quarter of this. If we remain vigilant, if we do the right things, the tough things, this is the hardest part.
All right, you did it. Woo.
The latest COVID numbers show the Central Coast is moving in the right direction, but not soon enough for Supervisor Carmen Ramirez, who just lost her brother to COVID.
This is a horrible thing. It's very contagious, and you might think it won't affect your family, but when it does, you will never be the same. My family will never be the same.
Newsom says $600 Golden State stimulus checks will help businesses, and funding will help schools.
Well, we can safely reopen these schools. They're happening. It exists today. We're seeing schools that have safely reopened and withstood even the big surge in January.
The governor's staff was secretive about where he was going to speak in Ventura County today, but it didn't take long for recall supporters to find him.
We want all of our kids in California to have the right to a public education in person. Online is not sufficient.
All of these kids deserve to be heard and to be educated. That's what we do. That is the job of these educators and the governor, to take care of our children.
Thank you.
Newsom left without a confrontation. He will be making similar stops in Los Angeles on Wednesday. In Camarillo, I'm News Channel reporter Tracy Lair.
Farm workers from Good Farms in Oxnard were among the first to take part in the Ventura County Farm Worker Vaccination Project. 113 of the essential workers lined up to get an extra layer of protection against COVID.
There is an opportunity, a great opportunity for us, because we work closely with about 10 other people in the crew that we work with on the farm daily. So for all of us to be vaccinated is a great benefit.
Farm workers are not eligible for vaccines just yet, but public health leaders say getting at least some of them vaccinated is critical.
These brave farm workers are essential to our community, putting foods on our table, and they've continued to work this whole time. They didn't have the opportunity to isolate or stay at home. They needed to continue to work for us.
It all comes as case rate numbers continue to decline. Right now, the county's case rate is at 25 per 100,000. If it holds, elementary schools that haven't already reopened in-person learning can.
We expect that trend to continue. That would allow schools beginning on Monday to open if they've submitted their plan.
The county now has 3 new mega vaccination sites: Rose Avenue in Oxnard, Northridge High School in Ojai, and Ventura County Office of Education in Camarillo. But vaccines remain scarce, especially with bad weather impacting shipments. So far, the delays have not forced appointment cancellations.
Approximately 3,000 appointments will open on Monday, and we'll also have second dose appointments will continue to be available.
Now the county is gearing up to vaccine essential workers by March 1st.
Now that's about 100,000 people in that group, so as you can imagine, that's a lot of people with still limited supply.
In Ventura County, I'm News Channel reporter Senere de los Santos.
Bishop Diego Jr. Anthony Villa is still locked out of the field where he's used to playing.
It's kind of sad, you know.
The football and basketball player, one of the many high school athletes hoping and training for a season that may never come.
I really enjoyed playing here, especially with the big crowd in the stands, you know.
Since the pandemic, no crowds and no games. The Cardinals have stuck together and have had some sporadic practice time, but the past year has been mentally grinding.
It's just been a big change. It's been very stressful because it's been a lot to handle.
On a pitch, Anthony Villa gets the ball and puts on a show.
For athletes like Anthony, COVID has also disrupted the dream of playing in college.
This year, I was hoping to go off. I was hoping to show people what I can really do and really get the scouts coming out here and hopefully get a good highlight tape for this year and really show people what I can do. But sadly, since we haven't been able to play, I haven't been able to do any of that.
Some athletes have taken big steps just to be able to play through the pandemic.
One of my close friends actually moved out of state to, I think, Iowa to go play for football. Definitely, it crossed my mind, but for me, sadly, I'm not in the position to where I can do that. I know it may sound crazy to some people, but it's part of me. You know, I've been playing it since I was like 7 years old.
The running back and defensive lineman is staying home, still talking to college coaches, still getting ready to play again. He says his family, friends, and teammates have helped him stay hopeful.
It's definitely meant a lot, you know, knowing other people are going through the same thing, knowing that I have a support group that I can go out to and talk about and that they can relate and help me.
Now serving G057 at window number 14.
Once again, parents can wait anxiously for the news of how their teens' driving tests went.
Hey, Lauren.
That was the case for this dad. He got the call he wanted to hear, then walked to the parking lot to see his daughter Lauren Dyruff smile.
I actually was pretty nervous at first, and then when I actually started taking it, I was less nervous, and it ended up well because I passed, so yeah.
I'm a proud dad whose insurance bill is about to hike up because that's my second kid.
The Santa Barbara High student was one of many teens who saw their appointments canceled during the lockdown.
The DMV has resumed behind-the-wheel tests. We had canceled them previously due to COVID-related issues. We are excited now that people who are anxious to get their driver's license can come in and take the test.
The DMV is also extending driving permits for 6 months, giving learners more time to prepare. Renewals have been expanded online, but some things require an office visit, like getting a real ID.
I accomplished my registration and, bill of sale at the DMV.
People generally need an appointment that includes a temperature check, physical distancing, and masks. It's not the crowded DMV most people are used to, and everyone seems to be in a good mood when they're on the road again. On Mondays, at a time when most people are eating dinner, Adams Angels volunteers are bagging meals.
We got cereal with milk.
Non-perishable meals will go to people in need between Carpinteria and Isla Vista.
When you actually hand one of these bags to someone who's hungry, it's just nothing better.
Founder Adam McCaig says a volunteer came up with the name Adams Angels, and a local student created the Halo and Wings logo.
March 1st, as a realtor, my job was deemed non-essential, so being that I want to take care of people, I posted on Facebook, is there anything I can do to help the elderly or those at risk? And the outpouring was huge.
During the recent downpour, Adams Angels made the rounds, giving out everything from donated socks and raincoats to blankets and sleeping bags to people without shelter. Betty Drew donated this space, and now her kids join in too.
I want them to get back to Santa Barbara and get back to something, and this is an easy thing for them to do, and they can be part of something bigger.
Because my mom and I like to help people in need.
300 meals will be picked up by nonprofits scheduled to give them out at designated distribution sites during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Love your neighbors and you'll help our community.
I'm in Pershing Park, and this is just one of the locations that Adams Angels will be dropping off meals and masks and snacks later this week. In Santa Barbara, I'm News Channel reporter Tracy Lair.
A short stack with strawberries.
Mrs. Olson's Coffee Hut in Oxnard is operating outside and inside despite health orders.
Fine, whenever you're ready, when your whole party's here, we'll get you seated.
But staying open has been a battle. Ventura County filed injunctions against more than a dozen local businesses for violating health orders. The iconic breakfast spot was one of them, but owner Matt Brigion fought back in court Tuesday.
We went to court for the charges that were brought against me by the county for being a public nuisance, for the temporary restraining order, and we were able to get those removed and move on to federal court.
Rhonda Baldwin Kennedy is representing Mrs. Olson's and 6 other local businesses facing legal action. She says the charges against Mrs. Olson's weren't all dropped and the case is pending.
I've removed all of these state actions that the county brought into federal court, and we just got an email this morning where all the cases that I'm representing have been moved to a different county council, and we're talking. They want to talk to us and try and get this stuff resolved.
Ventura County released a statement that says its next step is to try to get federal court to agree on returning the case back to state court, which will take several days. Despite the controversy, customers are still showing up, and employees are sporting a new look.
If opening my doors and serving food to the general public and having music and giving joy to people is being a public nuisance, and I'm guilty of that.
And Brigion is making a move against the county, pushing to recall 4 members of the Board of Supervisors.
Out of the 5 county council members, 4 of them voted to start litigation against me, in the lawsuit. So, what they did is unjust, and so we're going to go after them. And we started a recall process for the 4 county councils that have come after us.
In Oxnard, I'm News Channel reporter Senere de los Santos.
The Vagabond Inn Motel in Oxnard could soon be transformed into permanent housing for the homeless. It's already been providing help during the pandemic. But as News Channel reporter Senere de los Santos explains, the change could help a lot of people get off the streets.
This is my key right here. Look at it. Boom. Come right in.
Henry Vasquez shows off his motel room with pride.
Very comfortable in here.
He's come a long way after being homeless since the 90s.
Had a rough life, but thanks to Ventura County that they've been helping me a lot.
Vasquez has been staying at the Oxnard Vagabond Inn for nearly 4 months.
I'm always finding things to do.
He and others took advantage of Project Room Key. It's a statewide initiative aimed at helping homeless people who are at high risk for COVID-19. The goal is to reduce the spread of the virus by getting the homeless off the streets and into motels.
They bring food to us, they give us clothing. The motel is real clean.
Funding for the project is expected to end in January, but the motel in Oxnard could become a permanent housing option.
We are pursuing the acquisition or purchase and conversion of the Oxnard Vagabond Motel into 70 units of permanent supportive housing.
Well, here it is.
It would mean many of those in need would have a place to stay and get back on their feet.
I feel 100% encouraged. This place is way better than 100% better than sleeping in my van.
I feel good now because I'm safe. Out there, you can't sleep with both eyes closed. Here I can.
Project Room Key has sheltered more than 400 homeless people in Ventura County, many transitioning into Section 8 housing.
I'm going to learn how to play it.
Vasquez says he's looking forward to a permanent home base and the jump start to a new life.
I'm not that good, so I'll learn.
In Oxnard, I'm News Channel reporter Senere de los Santos.